So this week is Digital Preservation Week, which is really great. And we'll be posting a lot of things to our Facebook page about how to preserve your personal documents, audio, photos, video, and even your textiles. So check for our Facebook page for a lot of information about that. But today is all about how to use the Digital Library of Georgia's Georgia Historic Newspaper site. It's one of my favorite sites to use. I use it almost every day, and the questions that we answer while we're in the Heritage Room, and even when we're not in the Heritage Room, we get email requests constantly that have to do with going back to our publications, the newspapers from around the state of Georgia, in order to find answers and more information. So to get started, how do you get there? So there's a variety of ways to get to GeorgiaHistoricNewspapers.com. You can just go up to your Google bar and search in Georgia Historic Newspapers. Comes right up as a Google search. But I also wanted to show you an easy way to get to it from our website. So athenslibrary.org. And then you can click on Online Library. And then scroll down. You'll see all of our nice images for our databases and the like. Ooh. Looks like it's going to Foundation Center. I didn't mean to click on it. Just as an advisement for today's video, I'm working with a trackpad that I'm not familiar with and not a mouse. So I'll try to be better. So we go here to Georgia and Genealogy. And from Georgia and Genealogy's page, this is the page with most of the databases that we use in the Heritage Room. So it's one that I'll continually go back to and reference. So from here, you can get to Ancestry Library Edition, which is freely available from home right now. Yay! You just need the Galileo password, and I think they're also authenticating through your IP address. So that's really fantastic and easy. Find My Past, which is only available in the building, and unfortunately it's hosted in the UK, and we have not gotten any information about being able to use that from home for free right now. We're looking into it though. Digital Library of Georgia, and then of course Georgia Historic Newspapers. So Georgia Historic Newspapers is a partnership between Galileo and DLG, the Digital Library of Georgia. And it is freely available to use anytime, anywhere that you are, and has a plethora of titles. So, Georgia Historic Newspapers, here we are. A couple things about the site. So you can just do a general search right at the top. I generally try to not recommend that and instead going to an advanced search. It's just you're going to get a more targeted search and great results with that as opposed to doing a general search. It's doing a general search, you're not going to have any limits on it, no direction in your search, and come up with a lot of different things. And I like to be a little bit more targeted with searches. You also see here our recently added titles, and then an interactive map where you can browse and search different newspaper pages. So if you're not exactly sure of where you need to search, this is a good way. Just as a heads up, Athens-Clarke County is considered North Georgia, as well as any of the Athens Regional Library System counties. So Royston, Livonia, and Franklin counties, Oconee County, Watkinsville, Madison County, Danielsville, and Oglethorpe County, Lexington, excuse me. Metro Atlanta area, West Georgia, Middle Georgia, East Georgia, and then of course South Georgia. South Georgia, of course, considers some of this coast. I think East Georgia includes Savannah and the Chatham area. So you can see that there. But we're going to go directly to our advanced search. I'm going to move my face if I can. There we go. So you can see this page. So right here, you'll see we can search pages containing all of the words, any of the words, without the words, and then a word proximity search. So word proximity search is the one that I use most often. It's especially helpful if you're looking for a person. So say we were looking for J.B. Carleton. He was a doctor that served during the Civil War, post-Civil War, as well during Reconstruction. We actually have one of his ledgers in the Heritage Room. It's also now digitized on the Digital Library of Georgia. It has all of his African American, he was a white doctor, but all of his African American patients recorded in there. So tons of names from that period of Reconstruction where a lot of African Americans were not recorded in history and on paper. So it's a great, great medical journal. So I highly recommend looking at that. His name was J.B. Carleton. It was initials. And right now, I can't remember what the J and the B stood for. Make sure I got one space in here. There we go. Carleton. So, and what we're going to do, we don't want it within 5 words of each other. We don't want a J and then went the Carleton. No, we want them within 1 word of each other. We want it right there together. And I'm going to go ahead and put in Clarke County. I know that he lived and worked here. I'm not going to narrow by date. I just kind of want to see what comes up. We can go back and change the search later. Search. And there we go. So showing the right date ranges. Let's see. Southern Watchman. This was in an Athens paper. You can see here, whenever you see the title has a lot of descriptive information of the digital image. So we get the title of the paper, the area of publication, the dates that the publication ran, the years, the date of the actual page that we're looking at, and then the image number. So we're on image 3 in this issue. So you can see here we can go between the different pages. We can go from previous issue to next issue. There's a lot of different options. Clip visible area, meaning the visible area within this web viewer right here. So you can see here I can kind of move it around, make it smaller. I can zoom in. Woo! Just by using like the rolling ball on your mouse or the trackpad on your laptop. We can do view page text, which a lot of people find helpful if they have a hard time reading on that newspaper print. Because what it does is it gives you the full OCR transcription of that full entire page. You can see there. So lots of help. I'm going to go back. And then we can view it as a PDF. So it'll pull up a separate page of a PDF that you can then go and download and print if you want the full page of the paper. But again, this is going to be a very large, I don't know if you guys know, but those very large folio-sized papers. Newsprint was even larger than today's newspapers, so it will be that larger format, kind of compressed onto an 8.5 by 11 page, meaning it's going to be very difficult to read. So I generally recommend that you clip the area that you need to see and to use. It's going to be a lot easier on your eyes whenever you're going to print, and it'll look a lot better on a printed sheet of paper if that's what you're going for. So let's go down. And you can see here our search, what it does is it gives us highlighted portions of the results from our search. So our search didn't actually work too well because look, we just got Carleton. And I think it had to do with the abbreviations with the dots that we put into his name. So, and you can see here on this side, this notice that we got JR. We got just a J. So the search took those dots as something that I didn't intend for it to search. So I'm going to go back and change that. And what I'm actually going to do first is we're going to search for J.B. Carleton and find out what those initials meant. It's going to pull up a lot of modern stuff. So we're going to make this a little bit better. Athens, Georgia. I know he's buried in Oconee Hill. There we go. So guess what comes up? We get his Find a Grave memorial, as well as his medical journal or medical ledger that I was talking about that's been digitized. So, and he's Joseph Barnett. So we're going to go back and search that on Georgia Historic Newspapers. We're just going to go do a new search in our word proximity search. So word proximity, Joseph Barnett Carlton. I'm not going to worry about the capital letters. That's not as big of a deal. So I'm not going to go back and fix that. And hit search. Again, I'm doing it within one word. Again, we don't get anything. So let's go back, get rid of the Barnett, and just do Joseph and Carlton. The abbreviations are the hard ones to do. So let's see. We're getting a lot of results. So here's something about Crawford W. Long that the Jackson Herald published in 1910. Let's scroll down to the, oh, there we go. So I see Joseph B. Carlton. In May 1843, Dr. R.D. Moore and Joseph B. Carlton, for many years leading physicians in the city of Athens, discussed the trial of Dr. C.W. Long's discovery in a case of surgery before them. They are unfortunately prevented from making the experiment by having none of the fluid at hand. Mrs. Emma Carlton, widow of Dr. Joseph B. Carlton, who died recently in Athens after living here for many years, signed the following. I do not certify that Dr. Crawford W. Long of Jefferson Jackson County advised my husband, a resident of Athens, to try sulfuric ether as an anesthetic in his practice. In December 1844 in Jefferson, Georgia. While on a visit to that place in the office of Dr. Long, my husband extracted a tooth from a boy who was under the influence by inhalation of sulfuric ether without pain. The boy did not know when it was done. Further certified that the fact that Dr. Long using sulfuric ether by an inhalation to prevent pain was frequently spoken of in the county of Jackson at this time and was quite notorious. So talking about, Dr. Long's use of sulfuric ether and how J.B. Carlton and his wife helped substantiate that. So that's interesting. There's more about that same Joseph Carlton in the Weekly Banner. So a lot of different results. We could sift through all of them. There's only 157 pages found, which isn't bad. We can search by oldest first. We can sort those results so that hopefully we can try to get something from when he was living, perhaps. I want to try find something that's post-Civil War. If we go back to our search, here we go. Joseph Carlton. I'm going to limit by date range to 1864, so before the war ended, to 1860. Let's do 69. That's 5 years worth of time, and see if anything was published about him. We get a lowly 2 articles. I don't think this one's going to be super helpful. I'll tell you why. It looks like a long list of names. Yep. So what this is, which I always find tremendously interesting, is postage was done a little bit differently back in the day. So instead of the person sending the letter, affixing a postage stamp to it to pay the postal fee, they would just mail the letter. And it would end up at the post office, and the person whose letter it was, who was the recipient of that letter, would have to go to the post office to pay the postage in order to pick it up. So oftentimes what would happen is, say, a family member left your home after visiting for a couple weeks and we're going back to their home. They would say, well, I'll just send you a letter when I get there, just let you know that I arrived. So they would send the letter, the person would get the notice in the paper that, hey, you got a letter at the post office. And they may or may not necessarily go to the post office to pay the postage in order to pick up that letter, because message received. It's like the old days in doing collect calls. You would just say, instead of saying your name, you'd be like, hey, I'm fine, good, see you later, boop, and click. So you wouldn't have to pay the fee. So it's really kind of interesting and funny to me. But this is what this is, this long list of names. So, and there's quite a few Josephs related, and Carlton. I don't think our Joseph Carlton is listed here. That looks like Joseph Carter and a Janice Carlton. Perhaps. Who knows? We're going to go back to our search results. And let's look at this one from 1868. There we go. So this looks like the meeting then adjourned, Joseph P. Carlton, president. So it looks like he was a president of some meeting, some organization. The committee retired. This looks like a rather long entry. Let's see. Lots of articles. Here it is. Organization of the Young Men's Democratic Club of Athens. So it looks like on a motion, Dr. J.B. Carlton was called to the chair. So it looks like he sat as a president. So that's really interesting to know. And it looks like they had a nice full report of their meeting in this issue of the paper. So that's pretty freaking fantastic. So we search for a name for a person. So we're going to go back and search for like a subject or a topic that we're doing for research. So right now, everybody is looking into, everybody's concerned because we're going through a similar situation to what folks went to back in 1918 with the Spanish influenza. So I've done this search a few times just to see how people responded in the city of Athens. I think Tommy Valentine talked about it on one of his posts recently, one of his videos that they're doing every day, one of his live casts, that Athens was really on the forefront and quarantined the city very quickly, just as we kind of our county commissioners have in response to COVID-19 or coronavirus. So one of the searches that we can do to find those original sources in the newspaper, so if we go to pages containing any of the words, and you can see here I already did a search, and click on those letters to do that search again. But I'll tell you why I kind of picked all of these words to find articles about this in 1918. So I'm looking for pages that contain any of these words, meaning it's going to contain any page that has flu on it, any page that has Spanish on it, any page that has influenza on it, and any page that has quarantine. Ostensibly, I could get rid of Spanish because it was kind of a qualifier, but I'm going to include it just in case. I don't want to rule out any possibilities at this point in time. And then I also included quarantine because that word was commonly used in 1918 as it is today. So, and again, here we can limit our search by regions or counties and things like that. And we can select multiple options, but I just want to see what Clarke County had. Or let's actually check Oconee too. Let's check our service area. How's that? So, there's Madison. And if we click on each one, it's going to select each one. Oh, is Oconee County not? Oconee County's not listed, but there's Oglethorpe. And then we need to find Franklin. It doesn't look like it grabbed all of them, so I'm actually going to hit Control. Franklin's not listed, so we're not going to worry about that. Clarke. Let's go back down. Clarke. Don't have Franklin. Looking for Madison, Oconee, and Oglethorpe. There's Oglethorpe, we've got it. Madison County. It's going to be before there's Madison. Okay, so we've got those 3 counties selected. Franklin County and Oconee County were not options, either because their papers aren't in here or that they might have. Let's see if we have Watkinsville in the cities. Nope. And then let's see, Livonia. Nope. And then Royston. Nope. Okay. So we're going to search those. Aha. So actually we've got pretty decent results. The first time I did this search without limiting for all the different counties, I got over close to 300,000 results. So that's a lot of results to sift through. This time I only got 20,000. So that's a lot better. About a tenth of it to kind of sift through. You can see here it picked up all our search terms exactly because look at the dates. We got October 25th, 1918, October 22nd, October 8th, December 6th. See Danielsville Monitor. I'm so glad it picked that up. Red and Black in 2004. This is interesting. I wonder why it picked that up. Let's see. Test show bird flu. There you go. So that's why it picked that up. So you can see here we can look for like the trend of flu published in papers in those 3 counties throughout time because we didn't limit it to a date range. So we could get some pretty great results, which is fantastic. Here's 2009. Looks like seasonal flu vaccinations will come later. So that's really interesting. So if I wanted to limit it just to 1918 to that kind of date range, we can go here. So we're going to go 1-1 from 1918 because it didn't show up really until the fall. We know that. We're going to keep it pretty broad here and go for 19. Let's do 40, just in case, because there's going to be some after effects from this. And we kind of want to see what those are, not just as it was happening, but the after effects too. So we got even more limited results, so 5,000, which is still a lot. It's a lot, especially for that county area. But I'm sure, just like now, it was in the paper every day, and it looks like it just about was. Let's see. I'm going to skip ahead some pages. Here's November 11th. There's a lot of little red lines in this one. So let's see what this article has to say. Still asked to conserve stocks of VapoRub needed in flu districts. And you can see here, occasionally there is damage to our pages. They try to do a really good job with picking up what they can. So Vicks VapoRub used to help Spanish influenza. So that's interesting. Let's go. There we go. There's a lot. October 22nd. Spanish influenza, what it is and how it should be treated. Go to bed and stay quiet. Take a laxative. Eat plenty of nourishing food. Keep up your strength. Nature is the only cure. Always call a doctor. Avoid flu by sterilizing your nose. Interesting. Medical Service Corps will aid flu prevention. So lots of different titles. So say I wanted to grab this avoid flu by sterilizing your nose for my research. So what I could do is zoom in and kind of making it a part of the full screen. Oh, it's not going to grab that top bit, so I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit. Maybe I want to grab the date in my image too. Here, let me use, so there's these directional buttons up here. If you're finding the mouse to be a little bit difficult to use, you can zoom in that way, zoom out. So let me do one more. Zoom in. That'll help me read it. It won't really help me clip. So let me zoom out one more time. Let me see if I can get it just right. A roller ball and a mouse would help right now. There we go. I think I got it. There. Got it. Yes. So, and then what I could do once I got it in that window is clip visible area. So what clip visible area does is it pulls up what I had on my screen. So you can see here, it has what I had on my screen. And I could print this page if I wanted to. It'll pull up, you know, this full bit right here that's in that box. Or I could use the snipping tool for if you have Microsoft. They have that great little, it's the one with the little scissors as its icon. The snipping tool to just grab that as an image. Mac, you have if you're using an iOS system, they actually have a key control for that. So if you hit Shift Command and the number 4, what it'll do is bring up a little cross, your cursor will turn into a crosshatch on your screen, and then you can just grab it, you know, pull it down, pull the box down, and then you'll hear a little camera like click noise. And what it has done is clipped that box that you highlighted onto your clipboard, so then you can go into preview and pull it up in preview and save the image. I like doing those image ones. Those are the easiest saves to me. But you know, doing a PDF, if that's more familiar to you, that's fine too. It's just your preference and how you want to save. But I will tell you, by doing the PDF, the print, if I go to print, doing the PDF is really helpful by going to that clip visible area. Because what it does is it keeps the URL that you accessed on it, print on that page. It will have the date that you access that page, the title of the paper, the date of the issue of the paper. So if you need to do citations, if you're using you know, this resource for publication, that's a great way to save your citations too, because all that information is going to be on that PDF as well. So that's Georgia Historic Newspapers, you guys. Thank you for following along for today's Tuesday tutorial. I can't wait to see you all in the Heritage Room sometime soon. Stay safe. If you need anything, again, feel free to contact us at the Athens-Clarke County Heritage Room Facebook page. You can message us there, or you can email us at heritageroomref@athenslibrary.org. I look forward to seeing you guys sometime soon. Thank you.